Hello everyone, I'm a Broken Robot. 2013, what a time to be alive. Vine was at its peak, House of Cards had tricked the American middle class into thinking they were far more sophisticated than they really were, and America was wrapped up in the golden age of mobile gaming. While today in 2024, the App Store offers games that are either clones of pre-existing mobile games or titles littered with microtransactions and raunchy ads, back in 2013 things were different. Mobile game developers were actually expected to produce a game with some substance and quality. This era brought us such classics as Clash of Clans, Jetpack Joyride, Plants vs. Zombies, and the now infamous Flappy Bird that took the internet by storm in May of 2013. But many have forgotten the cultural impact this game has had on not just the internet, but indie game development in general, with Flappy Bird creator Dong Nguyen learning the hard way that sometimes reaching overnight success can take a toll on one's personal life. Born on May 17, 1985 in Hanoi, Vietnam, Nguyen developed an early interest in programming and technology. Growing up in the 1980s and reaching his teenage years in the 1990s, Dong had a front row seat to the golden age of gaming. Originally planning to be a computer software engineer, he studied at Hanoi University of Science and Technology in Vietnam, where he pursued a degree in computer science. After completing his education as one of the top members of his class, Nguyen began working in the tech industry, gaining experience in software development. After moving from company to company during the late 2000s, his true breakthrough and payoff came with the creation of Flappy Bird. While Dong worked at his various software engineering gigs, on the side he taught himself to code gameplay script, which he had started while being a teenager. Dong, who worked long hours, wished for a single-player game to be played for just a few minutes as a break while at work. Combining his love for games like Tetris that had nearly infinite gameplay, and titles like Mario that had colorful art styles, this formed into what would become Flappy Bird. Launched in May 2013, the game initially gained modest attention, serving as a simple time waster game to play for a couple minutes and then place down. Its popularity truly skyrocketed in early 2014 as a combination of YouTubers and one of the earliest App Store crazes took place. Speaking of the App Store, Dong uniquely went against the grain of other Vietnamese gaming developers at the time. While most of the industry still focused on traditional console titles, Dong wanted to create a mobile game that could be played on any smartphone device. This was intentional by Dong. He wanted Flappy Bird to serve as a corporate-friendly break game, and since most workers don't exactly take a GameCube or PS2 to their local factory jobs, it made sense for Dong to design Flappy Bird around the iPhone 5's at the time still revolutionary hardware. Flappy Bird stood out for its deceptively simple gameplay, featuring a small bird navigating through a series of pipes with the player's taps on the screen controlling its altitude. While the controls and premise were simple enough, many gamers soon realized that this colorful game was deceptively difficult. The game's challenging nature and retro pixel art design struck a chord with players across the globe, leading to its viral spread through social media. Thanks to Let's Play videos from YouTube titans like PewDiePie, it became very popular among teens and children, which led to the downfall few saw coming. Dong, who was still at home in Vietnam, couldn't even imagine how popular his game would become. While in the early months of the app being available, it was only advertised as a simple time waster to be played for a couple of rounds and then put down, never underestimate the power of overstimulated Zoomers. Quickly among teens and young adults in America, it became a popular conversation to ask how good you were at Flappy Bird. This usually led to friend groups competing over who could get the higher score, which helped propel the addictive nature and popularity of the title. While to this day it's unknown why, but the controls for Flappy Bird were infamously simple, but also the in-game bird was difficult to control to a nauseating degree. Hardcore Flappy Bird fans would spend months raging over the simplistic time waster. It got so bad that in late 2013, all across America, local news stations were reporting parents being concerned about their children breaking their own devices over the games. Urban legend also says that two brothers in southern India were arrested in October of 2013 for allegedly getting into a knife fight after the older brother beat his younger brother's Flappy Bird high score, but take that story with a grain of salt. Regardless of crazy rage stories that were coming out of Flappy Bird, the situation also had external forces putting pressure on Dong, who was still the sole developer and worker on Flappy Bird in late 2013. Due to the popularity of Flappy Bird and how early App Store monetization worked, Dong was able to rake in a small fortune thanks to the app's success. According to businessofapps.com, at its peak in early 2014, Flappy Bird was generating around $50,000 in ad revenue per month, and plenty of other mobile developers were eager to get a piece of the pie. Thanks to Flappy Bird's unique style, it was able to stand out among the crowd of other mobile games being released at the time, but by mid-2013 there were hundreds of Flappy Bird clones. Some existed to try and trick people into thinking they were the real Flappy Bird app, or others were parodies or gimmicks looking to cash in on the success. While Dong certainly wasn't complaining about the ad revenue, as Flappy Bird's success grew and grew and as more and more wild rage stories spread across the internet, Dong's personal life began to be affected negatively. According to PCSB.org, Dong, who was still a passionate computer scientist and engineer, felt like he was being pressured by peers and family to continue game development despite him seeing it as a passive hobby. Some sources even claim that estranged family members would write to Dong after his success, begging him to quit his coding job and become a full-time game maker. Being well aware of the potential backlash, in an act of self-preservation and for the sake of Dong's own mental sense of integrity, on February 8, 2014, he announced that the Flappy Bird app would be removed from the App Store on February 10, 2014. Despite an outcry from fans and even a few inappropriate death threats, Dong stuck to his word, and on February 10, 2014, Flappy Bird was removed from the App Store, seemingly never to return. Dong had become disgusted by how captivating such a simple game had become, and despite the money he was making, he didn't want his legacy to be built on being pressured to make more addictive phone games.
Now I am become death, the destroyer of worlds. I suppose we all thought that.
While for weeks, and in some parts of the world for months, disgruntled fans talked about the app's deletion, thanks to a slew of Flappy Bird clones and the infamous Flappy's Back app tricking half the internet into thinking Dong had re-uploaded the app, the original Flappy Bird fell into irrelevance. While some people online question why Dong would throw away what was essentially his big break, I think Dong serves as a prime example of artistic integrity. If you read articles from 2014, you'll learn that Dong began to hate his own creation due to its addictive nature and all the rage that it was causing. Dong's original design made Flappy Bird out to be a fun time burner, but it was never intended to be a long-term game to play for hours on end, which made Dong feel like he was inadvertently wasting the time of his own player base. While Dong slipped into irrelevancy after the hype around Flappy Bird died, for him this was the ultimate payoff, as the influx of capital from Flappy Bird would allow Dong to work on future titles like Swing Copters and Shuriken Block, which many critics, myself included, believe easily dwarf Flappy Bird in terms of design and substance as a mobile game. While some to this day still hold a grudge against Dong, many online see him as the humble indie developer who threw away an easy ticket at wealth and fame for a chance at producing a product he could truly be proud of. A sentiment many other modern game studios could learn from. EA, Activision. Oh man, oof, sorry, I think some dust got sucked into my voice modulator or something. And that, my friends and dear viewers, is the often forgotten backstory behind the App Store's once most popular application. Comment down below what your thoughts might be about Flappy Bird. Did you play it a whole bunch back in the day, or were you someone like myself who didn't quite get the hype until long after the app was removed from the store? But with that being said, if you've stuck around this long, why not take a moment to hit that like button? If you like this video, not only does it let me know that you guys want more content, but it helps me out personally in the YouTube algorithm, so hey, thanks a bunch. If you like what you see, why not hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out on my future video essays, game reviews, and commentary on whatever topic of the week piques my interest. I cover everything from video games to 17th century artwork to mobile games, so feel free to comment down below some video topic ideas you might have, and I'll be sure to give you credit in that video if I take your idea. But more than anything, I'm so glad to have each and every one of you here in the audience. I hope you all have a great day, go check out some of Dong's other games, I promise they're all actually pretty good, and stay cool.